One of the most talked about and least understood parts of SEO is called meta tags. Meta tags are little pieces of information that's hidden in the HTML of a website, and indeed every page of a website, that communicates with the search engine, robots, and other entities. It gives them information about what your site's about, really. They were invented in the mid-90s, kind of in the early years of the internet, because people needed a way to kind of get those keywords into their site, but they didn't have a good way of doing it. And it was before Google came along and kind of changed the whole makeup of the search industry. Meta tags were very, very important 15 years ago. 10 years ago they were kind of important. 5 years ago they became almost completely irrelevant. But there are still 2 or 3, I'd say, maybe 4 meta tags that you should really pay attention to. The reason that we still use them, even though they've kind of dropped in importance, is because even though Google has kind of discounted some of those meta tags, in fact said they don't even pay attention to things like the keywords meta tag, they're not the only search engine around. Other search engines still do pay attention to the keywords meta tag, and so we're going to talk about them, and I'm going to just kind of tell you which ones I think are important and how to write good meta tags. And of course, it wouldn't be a Drupal SEO video if there wasn't a Drupal SEO module to help you with your meta tags. The module I'm talking about is called it's called the meta tags module, but it's also kind of called the NodeWords module. Originally it was called the NodeWords module, and then they realized that they didn't just have it to add the keywords tag, and they started building out the module, and then it kind of became like all the meta tags were in the NodeWords module. So they changed the name to the meta tags module, but it was still kind of saved in the Drupal system as the NodeWords module, and it became very difficult with upgrades and things like that. So it's kind of at this point simultaneously known as the meta tags module and the NodeWords module. So if you'll go to your SEO checklist, we solve all the confusion for you. First of all, let me just point one quick thing out. Going through the tabs here, we've done all the page titles. We've done all the URL paths. Remember, we created our Google account earlier. We're not going to do a Yahoo or a Windows Live ID to set all that up, but you could if you needed to. We've done everything we need to do to set up Google Analytics and track your visitors. And now we're down to the 5th tab here, the Page Content tab. And the very first one here is the Meta Tags, aka NodeWords module. So we're going to click Enable here. And I'm going to go ahead and walk you through this because there are some things that are a little unusual about the way that the meta tags, which is, here we go, it's under meta tags, but the name of the module itself is NodeWords. Okay. Alright, so anyway, we need to enable the NodeWords module, and then this gives us the capability of doing meta tags, but it doesn't actually give us any of the interface that we need. So you need to go ahead and also turn on the NodeWords basic meta tags module as well. And we're going to turn this one on in a minute, but for now, leave it off. We're going to talk about it when we do local search engine optimization, which is coming up next. Anyway, we're going to save configuration. And now we have a little bit of configuration that we need to go through. We're going to go back to the SEO checklist, Page Content, configure the meta tags. Now, here we have 3 different tabs. They're the meta tags to show on the edit forms. That means when you're editing a node, which meta tags should you be given the option to edit. There are the meta tags to output in the HTML. So interestingly, you can actually create meta tags in the node, but it won't publish them unless you've also ticked off the same meta tag here. And then meta tag creation options, which kind of give you some other options of how the meta tags are going to be rendered on the page. We're not going to change any of these. There are really no reason that you need to mess with them. And then you have this tab over here for default meta tags. So if you wanted to go in and set defaults for your site, which again, I don't recommend that you do, but you could if you wanted to. Here in defaults, you can also set the front page meta tags, which means no matter what page is used or how you've got your front page set up, these are going to be the meta tags that are going to be shown on the front page. So probably, typically, what I would do is I would turn on the description, I would turn on the keywords, and I might turn on copyright, but it's not really necessary. It's not helping me in the search engines. I think that's all I'm going to do is description and keywords. I want to make sure I come here and turn on description and keywords for what tags are actually going to be rendered on the site. Save my configuration. And I want to go ahead and go over to my default settings and set what my front page is going to be. So now that we've turned those on, I'm going to go ahead and create, I'm going to skip all those, there's my description. I'm going to enter in a nice description that we've written that carries our keyword pretty close to the beginning. Now I will say this about the description. The text you put here is not going to help you rank higher in the search engines. However, it is the text that is displayed in the Google listing. So if I go to Google and I search for Seekonk MA Real Estate, this text right here is either pulled from the meta description, or Google goes to the body of the page. If there's no meta description, they'll go to the body of the page and kind of pull out some key things and kind of make their own description there. So you have an opportunity with this to kind of influence the people who are looking at the Google listing. If you know that you're going to be driving a lot of traffic from one particular key phrase, I would go ahead and write your meta tag description so that that key phrase shows up early, because as you can see, if there are elements of the search in the description, then Google will bold those, and so the more bolds that somebody sees, the more likely it is that they'll think, hey, this is relevant, this is a listing that is pretty close to what I'm looking for. So recommend that you put those, and notice Google does that with the titles as well. So that's a way that you can kind of influence the visitors to Google to click on your listing. And then with the keywords, you know, I'm not going to put my well-researched and well-thought-out keyword here because if I do that, it's going to show up on the front page of my site, and any of my competitors that are doing their keyword research that come to my site and look at my keywords meta description, they're going to see my favorite keyword, my most powerful keyword. And so I'm going to change this just to throw them off the scent. I'm not going to go to something completely different, but I'm just not going to give them my very best one there. And I'll say Seekonk Real Estate, and I'll also do Seekonk Homes, something like that. And then I'll save that configuration. So now when I go to the front page of my website, I don't see those anywhere, and that's because they're hidden. What you have to do is you have to view the source, and then you find the meta in the source, and you're going to find keywords. There's the keywords meta tag. You're going to find the description, and there's the nice description that we dropped in there. And notice we kind of used some other good keywords: realtors, foreclosures, buy, sell, rent. We try to include some other keywords that were really good in the description, just in case somebody said rent, Seekonk, or something like that. Then hey, at least we'd have something in there. But one of the things that you have to keep in mind is that you only get 155 characters in the description. Anything longer than 155 characters gets truncated. So just keep that in mind. And in fact, I know that in times past I've actually written descriptions that were shorter than 155, but were kind of leading, and then put the ampersand, like you could win lots of ... and then it kind of encouraged people to go, oh hey, what can I win? And they click on it and go over to the site. So you can kind of, having that knowledge kind of gives you an advantage. It lets you do some things that will sort of entice people through human nature to click through and come to your website. So now that we have all that set up, we can administer meta tags on a node-by-node basis, just like we can the title tag and the path. So if I want to do that, I click on the node title, I click the edit button, and I'm going to scroll down here and I'm going to get a meta tags tab. I'm going to click that tab, and there are my meta tags. I can select a or type in a description. Remember, this node was about pricing. I can write a nice long description there. I can go in and under keywords, I can put in Seekonk real estate pricing. Slightly different. Again, I don't want to use my, I just think I'm going to try to keep those great keywords obscured from my competition, but still, I can put those in there. And then when I click save, and I view this piece of content and I look at the source, I'm going to find my meta tags in there, and notice that it's filled in the one for the keywords meta tag. It's put my keyword in there that I just entered, and none of the other meta tags are showing up because I've told Drupal in the administration page only publish keywords and description. So meta tags are often misunderstood, but I think they're still very useful, especially the description meta tag, which Google does use in their search results. We've shown how if you put your keywords in that description, then it will be bolded when your site shows up in Google, and that's a really good thing. And then the keywords, not useful for Google, but other search engines do use the keywords meta tag. So put a few keywords in there, don't go crazy. Couple of keywords per page is all you really want to put in the keywords meta tag. We've gone through, we've shown you how the module works in Drupal, and so now you're in control.